So, what I'm going to talk about today are tips for spiritual travelers. So, when you're on a plane trip, you know of certain travel tips, right? Such as don't make your bag weigh more than 40 pounds, right? You know this is a travel tip. Otherwise, when you get there, you're going to be stuffing your bra and panties in your pockets, in your coat pockets, right? You know of travel tips, right? Don't take any liquid that's more than 3 ounces. Otherwise, some TSA agent is going to have your $80 bottle of perfume for their date night, right? This is a travel tip. You know this. You know, don't wear lace up shoes, right? Wearing lace up shoes can make you miss your plane because the time you're spending relacing your shoes is the time they're saying, Mr. Webb, calling Mr. Webb, this is last call for gate 56, and you're near gate 2. Don't wear lace up shoes. They will make you miss your plane. This is a travel tip, right? So we all know these travel tips. We understand these travel tips because they are designed to make our journey more easy, more effortless, less stressful, and more joyful. But guess what? We're always traveling because our life is a journey. Our life is a journey from pain and suffering to joy and fulfillment. Our life is a journey from a feeling that we are separate from God and that God has banished us and we are not wanted, to a feeling that God is embracing us and God is within us and God is guiding us and God is giving us our heart's desires. That's a journey. So just like there are travel tips for traveling from Washington, D.C. to Fort Lauderdale, there are travel tips for traveling it back to the kingdom of heaven where we belong. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Tips for spiritual traveler. So a story illustrates a spiritual point. And these stories can come from anywhere, and they're just stories. So what I'm going to ask you to do first of all is I'm going to ask you to suspend your judgment of this story. I found this story in the Bible. And as Dr. Rocco Errico has often said, when you look at a biblical story, it probably didn't happen. It's a story to emphasize a point. The stories are often graphic in nature because so few people were literate that they didn't read books, they didn't have movies, they didn't have the internet. So you told a story over and over again and you embellished the story, and the story stuck in people's minds because there wasn't media back then. So the stories were the media. So I'm going to tell you this story that I found that illustrates a key tip for spiritual travel. The story that I found is the story of Balaam's donkey. It's in Numbers chapter 22, verses 21 for 29, for those of you who like to use scriptural references. Now, I'm going to paraphrase it. Balaam got up in the morning and saddled his donkey. When Balaam went on the trip, the angel of the Lord stood to oppose him. When the angel of the Lord stood to oppose Balaam, the donkey turned off the road into a field. So Balaam beat the donkey. And the angel of the Lord then repositioned himself in front of Balaam again. And when Balaam was traveling through this narrow path through the vineyards with walls on both sides, the angel of the Lord appeared again, and the donkey moved towards a wall, crushed Balaam's foot. Balaam was angry because he got a crushed foot, and Balaam beat the donkey again. So then, when Balaam was in another narrow pass, the angel of the Lord moved in front of Balaam a third time, and the donkey lay down. Balaam beat the donkey a third time, and then the donkey started speaking. This is a biblical story. So you get lots of speaking donkeys in biblical stories. The donkey started speaking the words of the Lord. The donkey said, Balaam, why are you beating me? Balaam, why are you beating your own ass? And Balaam and the angel of the Lord said, you've erred. You've been reckless. Don't do that. And Balaam was like, oh Lord, if I had known it was you, I wouldn't have beat the donkey. Oh Lord, I realized the donkey was moving out of the way for my greatest good. Oh Lord, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I'm paraphrasing this. And the Lord said, there's nothing to forgive. Just go forward. And as you go forward, just like I spoke through the donkey, speak only my words. So this was a story. Now, this story is violent and it depicts what humans at that time projected onto God, all of our human neuroses and foibles, and all of our anger we projected onto God. And the story reflects that. But the story has a moral to it. The moral of the story is be kind, be patient, and know that all things work together for your good. That's the moral of the story. When something is coming up, don't judge it as bad. Be patient and be kind, and know that ultimately it is for your good. So let me ask you a question. Has anything ever happened to you that you did not enjoy? If you're on Facebook Live, give a heart or give a thumbs up. If you're here, show me your hands. If anything ever happened to you that you did not enjoy. So let me ask you a second question. Did you, as a reflex, curse it the way Balaam cursed his donkey? Did you, in any way, judge it or criticize it in the same way that Balaam judged his donkey? Or did you, in any way, judge, criticize, or denigrate yourself for having that experience? Why did I do that to me again? Is that just me? You know, when you're a minister, you're not preaching to the congregation. You're really preaching to yourself, because the congregation is a reflection of you, as we are all one with each other. So what if, I have you a question, if you said yes to any of those questions, I have a question for you. What if, on some level, everything, even those unfortunate things, were engineered to lead you to your good? What if the scripture in Romans 8:28 were true? All things work together for the good for those who love the Lord and serve its purpose. What if there was a conspiracy of good for you? And what if all things, even those things that sometimes seem unfortunate, conspired for your good? What if A Course in Miracles, lesson 135, paragraph 18, verses 1-4 were true? And that says, what would you not accept if you knew that everything happens, all events, past, present, and to be, are gently planned by one whose only purpose is your good, who would only lead you to good? What if we could accept these things instead of judging them, criticizing them, judging ourselves, or criticizing ourselves? What if we could accept and understand that there is a divine conspiracy for our good, and that all things work together for our good? What if we could understand that we came to the earth in order to see our errors in thinking so that we could correct them, so that all of us, every layer and every level of our consciousness, could vibrate with love, could return to love, could remember that we are love, and could be the love that we were created to be? What if every situation was designed to lead us back to love and wake us up from the false idea, from the dream that we were separate from God? What if everything was gently designed to awaken us in this way? Now, if we accept that this is true, then we wouldn't hold judgments or grievances about all the stuff that we encounter. because we know this thing, I don't enjoy it right now, but it will lead me to love. This thing, I don't enjoy it right now, but it will lead me to healing. This thing, I don't enjoy it right now, but it would lead me to grace. So my question for you is symbolic. Just like Balaam rode a donkey and beat it, what donkey are you riding and beating? And why are you beating your own ass? Are you riding the donkey of not enoughness and beating up other people or beating up yourself because a part of you has not been fully convinced that you are the holy beloved of God and that you are enough and you are deserving and you deserve all the good that you desire? Are you riding the donkey of victimhood where you believe that the world is against you? And because somewhere in the back of your mind, you believe in sin and guilt and believe that the world is punishment for your sins, and you're beating yourself up. What donkey are you riding? And if you're experiencing a donkey that you do not enjoy, that you are not seeing the good in, how can we get through that? Well, A Course in Miracles, lesson 69 says, grievances hide the light of God. And when we're riding our donkey and beating our donkey, when we're having grievances against what happened, when we're holding grievances against ourselves, I thought I dealt with that already. Anybody ever have that grievance against themselves? A grievance against ourselves. I wish I were there already. I want to be there already, but I still find myself in the same place. When we are in the grievance, it hides the truth. The truth is the good within us that this situation is designed to call forth. The truth is that God's love is available to us. And when we call it forth in this situation, God's love can heal it. So our task is to ask, instead of slipping into judgment, instead of beating the donkey, instead of beating up the people who are co-conspirators in our conspiracy for good, our task is to instead go within and ask, what is the error of my thinking that this experience calls me to correct? Any experience that you are not enjoying is a call for correction. It is a call for love. It is a call for light. It is a call for healing. So instead of judging ourselves and castigating ourselves, or judging the circumstances and castigating the circumstances, or judging the other person we see as our victimizer and castigating our victimizer, what if we were to simply look within and say, what is the error of my thinking that this experience calls me to correct? We would then be still. Instead of lashing out, what if we were to be still? And so the light of God all around us could converge and bring us new wisdom, new perspectives, and a new insight on the situation. We would then see the error of our thought. We would see that we had an attack thought, a thought where we were attacking ourselves. And that attack thought showed up in our outer world in the form of someone seeming to attack us. We believed somehow that we were sinful, guilty, not enough, unworthy, and we attacked ourselves unconsciously. And that inner energy of attack attracted an external experience of attack. Let's not beat ourselves up. Let's not judge ourselves. Let's not judge the other. Let's not judge the situation. Let's just know that this is a call for healing. This is a call for love. This is a call for grace. So the point of all of this is that as we are on our journey to light, we are asked to see that which blocks the light. That which blocks the light comes up for healing. It is not a bad thing. In terms of our divine curriculum and our divine journey and why we incarnated in order to see these things. We incarnated in order to heal these things. We incarnated in order to overcome these things so that more and more and more of our consciousness could be aligned with the light of God and the grace of God. So it's all good, as the kid says. So I'm just going to give you 3 tips in a map. So how do we travel in the world that seems so full of attacks, obstacles, difficulty, and suffering? I've come up with 3 tips, and I'm just going to talk about them briefly, then we're going. Number 1, spiritually consult with God. Number 2, simplify the issue. And number 3, speak only God's words. I'm going to repeat these. Number 1, continually consult with God. Number 2, simplify the issue. And number 3, speak only God's words, just like the angel of God entreated to Balaam. What do I mean when I say continually consult with God? You know, when we consult with ourselves, we see things through the lens or through the prism of our own judgment and our past experiences. So we see attack, we see difficulty, we see the donkey crushing our foot against the wall, but God sees it differently. So A Course in Miracles lesson 25 says, I don't know what anything is for. And as the scripture says, knock and the door shall be open, ask and you shall have the answers. So ask God, God, what is the real meaning of this? God, what is the lesson in this? God, what is the blessing in this? Knock and the door shall be open, ask, and you will receive the answer of God. But you've got to be still within. I've got to be still within. We've got to be still within to hear the voice of God. We're so busy complaining, we can't hear God. We're so busy castigating someone else that we can't hear God. Be still and know that I am God, as a scripture. Be still and know that there is a God within you that has the answer when you're still enough to hear it, when you're willing to hear it instead of being willing to judge. Okay? Tip number 2, simplify the issue. Don't judge it, don't criticize it, don't hold a grievance. Balaam's donkey saw something that Balaam had missed. Balaam wasn't seeing the angel of God. Balaam's donkey was doing what was for his master's greatest good. Balaam didn't see it that way. Any situation you see that you do not enjoy is a place where you are not enjoying, where you are not seeing God. You are seeing a difficulty. You are seeing a difficult person. You are not seeing love. You are seeing a cry for love instead. So any difficulty is an opportunity to invoke love and simplify the issue. No matter what you're going through, A Course in Miracles lessons 79 and 80 say, let me understand the problem so that I can solve it. Let me understand that the problem has already been solved. And what does that mean? No matter what the difficulty, no matter what the problem, no matter what the challenge, no matter what the issue is love. Where you do not feel good, you are not aware of love's presence. Where you feel insulted, you are not aware of love's presence in a place within you that unconsciously has felt vulnerable to insult or attack. When you do not feel as if there is enough, when you feel that there is struggle, you are not aware of love's presence in the form of God's unconditional loving support for all that you are and all that you do. So the answer is simple. No matter what the issue, the answer is love, calling God's love in. And the problem is already solved because there is always enough love, because God's love is infinite. The problem is already solved because the solution is not contingent on certain conditions being met. God's love is unconditional, and calling God's love into any and every situation solves the problem or the issue. The problem is already solved. It was a place where we need to be more aware of love. So the 3rd point, speak only words of God's words of love. When we encounter an issue, how many times do we say, here I go again? When we encounter an issue, how many times do we say, oh, here we go again? When we encounter an issue, how many times do we get discouraged? I knew this would happen. I knew this wouldn't work. What about if God's words said, you are entitled to miracles because you are my holy beloved son? And what if we were to speak those words to ourselves instead of words of disappointment? What if we were to speak those words unto ourselves instead of words of frustration? What if we were to speak words of hope to ourselves, such as, I am your beloved God, in this place within me where I have held frustration or anger or anything unlike your love. Fill me with your love, for I did not know that your love was present and available to heal me, to lift me up. Speak only words of love to yourself, and only words of love to others. For every word of love is a prayer. Every word is a prayer. Every word is an incantation. Every word is a spell that you're casting. Every word is a creation. So when you speak only words of love, you are inviting love. When you speak only words of love, you are becoming aware of love. When you speak only words of love, you are adding love to any and every equation. So that difficult person in front of you, when you speak love, you see them as love. You don't see them as the difficult person that is in your way and standing between you and your joy. You see them as God created them, as love. This does not deny the challenge that you have. This does not deny or excuse the behavior that you find to be difficult. What this does is gives you a different perspective. This is a need for love, and you can apply love where love is needed. And when you apply that love, the situation will change. The situation will heal. The situation will transform, and God will show you a different way and a different perspective. Why is this important? Why is this important? Because you are here to be the light for all. You are here to bring light, to bring love to each and every situation. You are here to be he or she who remembers love for those who have forgotten it. So any situation you're having, any confrontation you're having, bring love to it, for that is why you're here. You are a way shower. You are a light bearer. And let me tell you how this works. A friend of mine was having this terrible confrontation at work that was actually threatening both of their careers with one of her coworkers. And the coworker and she were getting louder and louder, and the whole office was listening to it. And all of a sudden, she remembered that she was a spiritual person. All of a sudden, she remembered that she knew God. All of a sudden, she remembered a meditation that she did just the night before that caused her to fill with love and to fill with charity and to fill with grace and to fill with healing. And all of a sudden, she realized, I could see peace instead of this. I could see this differently. I could bring God into this. So all of a sudden, she started bringing God into it while her coworker was still name calling, right? Now, at this point, the whole office was standing on their cubicles like this, watching to see how this was going to play out, right? Everybody in the office was on the top of their cubicle looking. Ooh, why don't I have to watch my soap opera today? I got it right here in the office and I'm getting paid to watch it. So everybody was watching. And all of a sudden, she realized and remembered, I could have peace instead of this. So all of a sudden, she shut her mouth. Be still and know that I am God. All of a sudden, she was still and remembered that she was the holy beloved of God, not the person that this coworker was attacking. All of a sudden, she felt the grace of God. All of a sudden, she felt the embrace of God. All of a sudden, God's vision overshadowed her own. And she saw her coworker not as the bullying coworker in the moment, but she saw the coworker as the angry, hurt, frustrated child in need of love. And you know what she did? She shut her mouth and she sent love and light to that coworker. She stopped the back and forth energy, and she instead started sending an energy of love. And you know what that coworker did? That coworker got calm. That coworker got peaceful. That coworker said, oh, you know what? I think I was wrong. I'm sorry. How can we work together? And you know what they did? They went out to lunch. They worked together. That's the power of God to heal a situation. That's why you are here, not to judge a situation or yourself or the person. You are here to be the light. God has chosen you as its light. God has chosen you as the vessel for its love. God has chosen you as the sharer of its thoughts. God has chosen you as the bringer of the dawn. God has chosen you as the channel of the light. And as you choose to see God's light, as you choose to see that everything is for your good, because God can see around the corners that you can't, as you choose to continually reassure yourself and bring this light to each and every situation where love has been forgotten, you will invite God's loving presence. You will travel with God, and God will lead you effortlessly to your destination. For your destination is peace. Your destination is joy. Your destination is harmony. Your destination is fulfillment. Your task is to carry God in that dock kit. Your task is to carry God in that suitcase. Your task is to carry God in your mind. Your task is to carry God in your heart. Your task is to carry God in your consciousness. Your task is to carry God in your energy. And your task is to know that as you stop beating yourself up, as you stop beating others up, God is guiding you effortlessly to the good, to the kingdom of heaven that lives within you as grace and light and peace. So the tips for traveling: judge nothing, pray about everything. The tips for traveling: be kind, be gentle, know that everything is working for your good. The trips for traveling: consult God often. The trips for traveling: keep it simple, just bring love. The trips for traveling: in all thy ways acknowledge God, and God will direct you and bring you back to heaven. And that's what I want to share with you today. Thank you very much.